Hi, my name is Ed Herderick. I'm a fourth-year PhD student in the Department of Materials Science and Engineering at Ohio State. I got my bachelor's degree in MSE from Ohio State in 2005 and my master's in 2007. I'm working on studying electronic properties of oxide nanowires for my thesis. I just recently found out that I got selected as the Congressional Fellow for next year from the Materials Societies, which includes the American Ceramic Society. So really excited about that, to get to work at Washington, D.C. And I'm also the Vice President of our OSU ACerS club, working on the best mug drop team in the whole country, hopefully next year in the fall at MS&T. So that's a lot of fun, and had a lot of great experiences with ACerS and a lot of great professional opportunities. I heard about the fellowship through the consortium of materials societies. So it's sponsored by Materials Research Society, MRS, the Minerals, Metals, and Materials Society, TMS, and ACerS jointly. And each one of the societies put out a press release about the fellowship before the application process. Of course, you know, I'm really involved with ACerS and my local chapter at Ohio State. And I've just really been interested in the intersection of policy and science, and how setting research priorities leads to technological advances, things of that nature. And it just sounded like a wonderful opportunity of things that I was interested in sort of as a hobby, and didn't have the opportunity to make part of my professional life up to that point. And so this opportunity from the societies to make that part of my professional life was really important and really unique. I applied, wrote a letter of interest, got my letters of recommendation, and then put all that in around January, and then sort of sat on eggshells for about a month and a half. And then heard back that I was selected as a finalist, so jumped for joy, ran around the office, told all my friends, you know, and then went to Washington for an interview, and it was a pressure-packed panel interview with 6 people, only 1 hour. I have to say it was more difficult than my candidacy exam for my PhD, and of course all the graduate students out there are probably familiar with these panel exams and things. The undergraduates, I'm sure they'll get to know these types of exams in their future, either professionally or academically. But went in for the interview, and you know, just did my best, came back, and then again sat on eggshells for about 4 days. Got the phone call when I was tinkering around in the lab making some nanowires, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. It starts in September, and I'll be joining about 20 other fellows sponsored by different professional societies, like American Physical Society sponsors one, American Chemical Society, other groups like that from different professional areas of scientific research. We all get together and do an orientation session that's administered by AAAS, American Association for the Advancement of Science. Get together, do that, and then get placed on congressional staff, so either representative, senator, or committee staff. And then I'm just a full-bore professional staffer. And so I'll be reporting back with briefings and things, and writing an online diary or blog for the American Ceramic Society following my fellowship. But for all intensive purposes, I'm a full-time staff member on the congressional staff, working on whatever issues the representatives or senators are interested in, and whatever's on the floor that week. So it's going to be very different from my academic life, and I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can about the policy-making process, and just trying to contribute wherever I can. Inorganic materials, ceramics, are going to have a huge part to play. I mean, so you can just go through the list of things. You know, wind turbines is something that's in the news a lot. You know, lots and lots of materials in there, and not just metals. There's all kinds of inorganic materials, and are going to need to be new research and development advances that are going to be done by members of the society that are going to lead to more advanced wind technologies. And of course solar. Everybody's heard about solar. You know, the sun provides more energy in a day than we need in the entire world in a whole year. But we just need to harness that energy. And solar cells have lots of different material science that go into them, and that's what's going to lead to the cutting edge, more efficient technologies that are going to lead to low emission, cheap electricity in the future. And then nuclear technology, you know, is something that people are more cognizant of now these days. CO2 emissions free, has the capability of producing huge amounts of electricity, but of course, if you want to make a more efficient nuclear reactor, there's a highly corrosive environment, high temperature materials, so ceramics, of course, are going to play a huge role in that, and the research and development that's going on is going to create jobs not only for scientists, but also for the engineers, young engineers, in these new job markets. And it's really an exciting time to be a material scientist. And it's just great. There are all these great opportunities out there to really realize, you know, clean, abundant, affordable energy going forward through materials advances. Well, I was always interested in physics and chemistry. Knew when I was coming to college that I wanted to do engineering, just didn't really know what kind. And actually visited Ohio State as a high school senior. They have a MSc open house day. Saw a lot of cool demos. One that sticks out in my mind is actually a guy named Jim Williams, who's an expert on titanium metal, did the bouncy ball with bulk metallic glass, and that was just really great. It's still etched in my mind to this day, and so I gave it a shot, enrolled as a freshman in the material science engineering department, and turned out, you know, it was this great program, lots of great faculty, and really enjoyed it, and stuck with it to this day, almost 9 years later. I think the thing for me when I was looking at what kind of job I wanted to do is not just knowing the area of research that you're interested in. Like, for instance, you know, I'm interested in oxides and ceramic processing, but also, you know, do you work better in maybe a small company environment where you can wear lots of different hats and do some of the business side and some of the technical side? Or are you more interested in just the research, maybe at a national laboratory or something? Or for me, I'm really interested in science policy, so this congressional fellowship was just a great opportunity for me to follow my passion for the intersection of policy and science. So I think one thing people emphasize a lot is knowing what area of research you're interested in, you know, whether you want to do ceramics or metals or solar cells or automotive technology. But I think it's also really important for students to think about, you know, would I thrive in a small private company environment or a large corporate environment, or maybe a government lab is better for me. Number one is develop a relationship with the faculty, insofar as you can do that. They're your best professional networking resource. That's where you're going to get your internships. That's where you're going to make connections in your professional societies. I mean, really, it starts with the faculty. And as an incoming student, it's so important to do more than just show up for lecture, take the test, and then go home. You really got to develop that relationship, and that's going to lead to a blossoming of your career. Second, sort of related to that, is to be involved with your professional societies. I've had opportunities to develop my leadership skills by being involved in the local clubs, and also to have the honor of being selected for different awards through the professional societies that have opened many doors for me. And that's on top of just the networking. So by developing outside the classroom leadership skills and also having that professional recognition by being involved in the society, that's, I think, the second pillar of a successful career. And then the third thing is just to, in general, be involved outside of the classroom. I mean, I don't know that I realized it as a young undergraduate, or many people are cognizant of it, but everything that gets decided on these committees. Either, we have at OSU, our external advisory committee comes in. We have a graduate studies committee, an undergraduate studies committee. There's undergraduate and graduate student government. And they're really deciding these policy issues and maybe curriculum changes, things like that. And there are myriad of opportunities where they're hungry for students to get involved. There's not enough student involvement. So again, there's an opportunity to get involved outside of the classroom, do this networking, as it were, but also to contribute directly into the future direction of your academic program. Well, of course, getting involved with your college's Material Advantage chapter. That was really great for me as an undergraduate. I was able to go to some of the TMS meetings and do networking and see talks and get an idea of what academia was like as an undergraduate. As a graduate student, I've been attending the MS&T meetings. That gave me opportunities for professional recognition and graduate student awards and those things. And just to meet people. Going to the MS&T meeting, being involved with my local ACerS chapter, I met some folks at the meeting. Turned out that the one guy was an Ohio State alumni, and then I'm also involved with our external advisory committee as a student member at Ohio State, and he was a top scientist at Savannah River National Lab. And so just through that connection, meeting him at the meeting, being involved with the local ACerS club chapter, we met, he recognized me, and we had a really good conversation, and he said definitely be in contact in the future for possible employment. So that's just one way of being involved, doing the networking, joining your professional societies as an undergraduate or a graduate student, that you never know who you're going to meet, alumni or otherwise, that could lead to wonderful opportunities in your future professional life.